Way, Twitch family, I'm not sure if you're seeing this but the title didn't change. We had some technical difficulties on that end. It's if it ain't one thing, it's always something else. Y'all know how this go. Y'all know what it is. Anyway, so following this George Floyd situation, right? They finally got the jury selected. There are 9 women and 6 men, most of whom are all pretty young. They're all fairly young people, not no old folks like me. And I'm thinking, I don't know how that's gonna play. I don't know that it's gonna work in that man's favor, but who's to say? All I do know is that justice needs to be served. Um, Kenny One says, why not just name yourself to the Blackter? Perfect name. Okay, Kenny One. I'm not sure what that means, but all right. Anyway, let's move on. So we got we got the jury set: 9 women, 6 men, and the only problem here's the problem that I have with what I'm seeing so far. Now I don't know if it's the media thing or I don't know if it's what they're trying to do. Well, it's what the prosecutors are in the defendant the defense team is trying to do right now. They're attempting to bring up old stuff, prior convictions and things of that nature, in order to create uh, a situation to make it. Uh, Wait a minute, y'all. They're trying to create a situation to make it possible for them to bring up old evidence. Now, I don't know if that's going to be, I mean, it's annoying that they do this every time to somebody that they're trying to either exonerate or convict, depending on how they feel. But this is more like what do they call it? Where they're a character assassination. This has nothing to do with him killing George Floyd. Jaquilla Hughes, I see you. Ken Holden is in the building. Tania Foster is in the house. So this is a character assassination, which we're familiar with. This is a typical tactic. These are the things that they do in order to try to make these situations work in their favor, depending on what side of the fence they're on. And it's always got to be that whole, let's damage his person, let's damage him so that we can justify his murder. This is what happens. And these tactics are so old and they're tired, and we're tired of them. What does what he did in the past, what does any prior conviction or any of those things have to do with the fact that he has been basically assassinated? It has nothing to do with it. That is the most asinine way to try and get an exoneration for a killer cop. I'm kind of tired. Well, I think we're all tired of these police. But we're going to get into this whole gun conversation here, too, in just a little bit. We're going to talk about that and more. Right quick, I'm gonna address something. Kenny One, who is on my Periscope feed, and Kenny, by the way, you can join the page on YouTube or one of the other platforms because Periscope's going away as of the end of the month on the 31st. But he said that I should be called the Blackter instead of the Black Factor. So let me address that right quick, because I bet you there are people who wonder why I call this show the Black Factor. Well, Kenny, I'm about to tell you why. Since you brought it up, we're going to talk about it right quick. The reason this show is called the Black Factor is because life is an equation. Everything is based on mathematics. And in fact, in this world, in this America, in this equation that we call democracy and for the freedoms of America, understand that black people have been a major factor in everything that has taken place in this country. Without us, this country is not the powerhouse that it is today. Without the free labor that we provided, without the group to oppress and tax the hell out of along with other things that go with that, we would not, this America wouldn't be what you are, what many are so happy with. So, in fact, we are the black factor. I'm not the black factor. This show is not the black factor. The black people of this country are the black factor. And so, as we point that out in the name of this show, we give all an opportunity to gain knowledge and understand our real position in the equation that has become America. So, thank you, Kenny, for that. So, anyway, back to the whole George Floyd thing. You know, they're doing their best to try and tear this man down. And I personally, I don't care for it. But I mean, we have become so desensitized to these things that it is, you know, it's an issue. It's a serious issue. Y'all don't forget, you can also join this show through the Oh So Smooth Radio app. If you don't want to be watching the show, you can be listening to the show. You can catch that app on on the Play Store and on Apple iTunes. And you can download the app and you can listen along as we go. Kenny One says, I'm just a happy Canadian. I try to avoid smoke rising from the South. All right, Kenny, I like that in you, my man. Dana Brock is in the building, my man. Yeah, well, Kenny, it's all good, baby, because guess what? While you here, we're gonna give you some of that good education, man. We're gonna bring you along and show you what's good and let you know what's happening. All right, so now, right quick, y'all, I'm thinking, and Kenny, since we're talking about countries, we're going to talk about right quick. You know, right now we're in the midst of a whole bunch of stuff with these guns, which Canada, by the way, y'all don't have that problem no more because they banned y'all. And I heard people from Canada go through, say that they did not want, they said don't, in America, do not allow them to ban you from your guns because it's going to be a problem because y'all having problems up that way with that whole thing. All right. In the meantime, I want to say, here we go again. Y'all want to know right now, I'm thinking that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to have some problems here moving forward, y'all. I think that moving forward, the whole issue of gun bans and Mexico and these children at the border are going to be to their demise. I don't think it's going to work well in their favor. I think that they are going to be caused a lot of problems because of that. Now, that thing is just not going to go well. Okay. Here we go again, y'all. We got another mass shooter. It's a shame that I have to say another mass shooter because we talked about this guy the other night just a little bit. But the crazy part is this guy has run out here, done shot up all these people in a grocery store. How many people get up in the morning and decide they're going to go to the grocery store and they're going to go get something to eat and everything is going to be everything? How many times have I gotten up and ran to the grocery store thinking, yeah, I'm cool. I'm going to go in here and get me a gallon of lemonade right quick and some chips, something to snack on at the crib, and I'm going to run back. But in the midst of that, they run across a guy who I guess he's having a bad day, kind of like the other guy who shot up the places in Atlanta. He was having a bad day. Well, the bottom line is this is not what we expect when we leave our homes. But here's the thing. There are people who sit on different sides of the fence where this issue is concerned. My number one concern is, and let me just start by saying this. If you're one of those people who have a problem with gun laws and you didn't vote, I'm going to need you to be quiet because you didn't vote. Now, right quick, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to a young lady, and some of you have met her before. We want to try. I'm going to try and uh-oh, I think I just lost her. What just happened? Uh-oh, I just lost my guess. Doggone it. Oh, well, okay. The show must go on. All right. Um anyway, if you haven't used your voice in the most important place that you can use your voice, and that being at the polls, I'm going to need you to not say anything on what's happening unless you're fully prepared to do your part out here, um, to do your own part. You know, if you haven't voted, how do you go and complain about the legislation required in order for gun laws to be adjusted? Now, right quick, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring in my guest so that we can speak with her. I want to talk to her. Now, y'all, I don't know if y'all remember last year, I had a young lady on the show who had gone through COVID. And she had gone through COVID in ways that many of you cannot even imagine. She spent 75 days in the hospital. Many of those days in a coma. She had blood transfusions, and they had left her for dead on more than one occasion. But by the grace of God, they say, there go I, she survived. And I want to introduce you all once again to my friend, Angela. Come on in, Angie. How you doing?
How you doing, Brian? Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. It is good to see you, girl. Look at you looking all good and all beautiful over there. Looking all good and stuff. I see you. It is good to have you back on the show, my dear. How are you
Thank you for
doing?
having me.
How are you? Is every I
Um,
mean,
um, I'm doing. I'm progressing well. I'm not 100%, but I'm close to it.
and you know what? Just jump it. Let's just jump straight in. Look, I'm glad you said that part. You say you are not 100%. So tell us what that's been like. I mean, like, you know how you were before all of this, and you know that you still have certain, I guess, struggles because of this. Give us some idea of how hard it's been. About just tell us, what's happening with that. I mean, because I can't imagine. I've never been as ill anywhere near anything like that, and I know other people try to make a joke out of this COVID thing. Tell us what that's like.
So, just picking it back on what you said, I was in a hospital over 70 days, and most of that time I was on a ventilator, and I had a trach inserted in my neck to open up my airways so I can breathe better. So, as a after effect, I have shortness of breath now. I
Mm.
have struggle to breathe sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not stopping me from doing the things like going to the store or anything like that, but it's persistent and it's very noticeable.
Mm.
So I don't breathe the same anymore.
Really?
I also have I also experience brain fog at times.
Oh
I
wow.
have fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
and after I wow, I would say while I was recovering, I had surgery on both my hands
Really?
due to all of the lines that was running in my wrist, all of the IVs and everything. I
Mm-hmm.
had nerve damage.
Wow.
I had to have surgery to relieve those nerves in both my hands. So I had that surgery after getting out of the
Wow.
hospital.
Wow. That just shows you that people think this thing is a joke, man. Like they just gonna walk away from it and it's gonna be everything gonna be lovely. And there's way more to it, obviously.
Yes, because you can have shortness of breath with COVID. You can
Mm.
have flu-like symptoms, muscle pains, but then you don't know how it's going to hit you. You can have
Mm-hmm.
lung damage. You can have. I know some people had blood clots and they had to have amputations done.
Really?
So
Wow.
one thing leads to another thing that leads to another thing, and
Mm.
it's just unpredictable, unimaginable.
Wow.
And
That's crazy. And I guess you know, and it's funny because I've spent quite a bit of time even on this show, you know, just talking to people about being safe, remaining safe, and taking care of themselves and making sure that they try as hard as they can to avoid contracting COVID. But it's like
yeah,
there are people who do all the right things and they still end up with it. And then there are people who just do whatever the hell they want and they walking around like it's nothing and they great. You know what I'm saying? So you just
right,
don't know.
right.
It's like Russian roulette out here, you know.
Yes, it is. It's like the
Um,
luck of the draw.
exactly. Ain't that, or if you want to call it luck. but so as far as your you know, your journey over the last, it's been what, a year now, just right at, you got
Yeah,
sick what, about a year ago now, right?
yes, I got sick. I went to the emergency room to be evaluated because of a high fever
Mm-hmm.
and just feeling just achy all over. I
Mm-hmm.
went in on March 20th of 2020.
Wow. And so here we are, what's today, the 20 something, and and
24th, yes.
yeah, and you spent the next 70 days on lockdown trying to fight
Yes,
through this thing. um that's I mean, you're what we call a miracle, my dear.
yes. I thank God for every day. I thank God for bringing me through this because I know a lot of people didn't make it,
Yeah,
and I
yeah. That's
did. Yes,
I've lost several friends, and you're the story that, you know, that cautionary tale, you know, that
yes,
makes it, you know, people understand that it is possible to make it through this thing. And I'm
yes,
absolutely glad. And I mean, shit, what, I've been knowing you 30 years, 30 something years now, almost
yes,
40 years.
yes,
And you know,
yes,
we need you around here. You still got some stuff to do. You still got work to do.
yes.
God say he ain't done with you
I got
yet.
a lot of work to do. God has a lot of work in store for me. So,
You're doing
but I
God's work
do.
right now. You on here telling the world what they need to do to take care of themselves. And that's what's up. Yeah.
Yes, and I at that time I really, really wish we were social distancing and wearing our masks in early and mid May.
Mm-hmm.
Not May, I'm sorry, March. Because I think it would have made a difference.
Hmm.
And at that time I didn't understand the virus. Um I didn't really know the impact it had on how it could attack the body, attack the respiratory system. So, we all went into this thing blind.
Mm-hmm. You know, I have a guest, one of my regular Black Factor family guests who comes on, who actually called me the other day, and I went on a kind of a rant the other day about this whole COVID thing. I believe it might have been Friday, or I can't remember, Friday or Monday, or one of them days I was going on about COVID. I think it was Monday, and she called me and she told me that she had someone who was actually watching the show that said that I didn't know what I was talking about, and told her that I didn't know anybody black that had died from COVID, or anybody who had got sick from COVID. So I'm just, I guess you don't exist. So
But
you're not here right now, and you know,
no, I'm a living, walking testimony that it exists
there you go.
and it will. Some people have been very blessed to have mild symptoms, stay at home,
Hmm.
recover. Some of us went through,
Hell.
excuse what I'm gonna say, hell and back. I mean,
Hmm. Hell. Just call it what it is. This is an adult show.
and I had organ failure. Like you said, I was in they put me in a medically induced coma. I was, my blood pressure was at stroke level.
Mm.
So I went through so much. I was on dialysis. It can really break down the body and cause a lot of after effects, even after you come home from the hospital or you go through physical therapy. It's a lot of things people are experiencing even after
So it ain't just a
coming
part
through the
about being
battle.
sick, it's everything you got to deal with after the fact, after you've been through something like that.
And then I want to also mention the stigma that people experience after
Really?
going through such a battle. I had some people to say, I'm not coming around you.
Oh
I don't
wow.
like you near me because you have COVID. And I'm like, I don't have COVID anymore.
Wow.
But it's just still that stigma of,
Like you got a
it's still
disease
that
and you're gonna be
stigma, like,
contagious. Yeah.
right, like you still contagious. I mean, I done heard everything.
That's a shame.
And it was very discouraging because after all I've been through, out of this biggest fight I've been through, I got to deal with some aftermath of people that I thought was really close to
Hey,
me.
guess what? They did you a favor. Let them kick rocks and keep it moving. Kick rocks with sandals on. They good.
Yes,
Move around.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Now you said something a second ago that I thought was very important, and it's one of the things that I was on my rant about. You said you wish people would wear their masks and do the right thing. And I have to agree with you 100% because that's one of the things that I continue to go on and on about. And I find it a bit of a slap in the face that we had I don't want to call it an administration. We had a regime that refused to acknowledge that this was an illness and it was something that was actually a problem and played it down and made it, like it was nothing. And it caused a lot more people to be sick than were necessary. And
Yes.
so I will say again, I will reiterate that to my audience and to everyone, especially my dance family who are out here, who continue to walk around and dance and continue partying. And now all of a sudden, it's like people are they think because this vaccine is out here that now all of a sudden they got free reign, it's back to normal and everything is good. I suspect that we're going to be going through a fourth wave here pretty quick, and there are going to be a lot more sick people. What advice would you give, Angela, to people out there who have gotten very, very comfortable thinking that this is over?
But first, can I piggyback on
You
what
can
you
you can
just
you can
said?
ride with it. Say whatever you want to say.
I just want to piggyback on what you said that we had a regime that didn't acknowledge that this was serious, deadly, that
Mm-hmm.
it was even out here.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they not acknowledge it, they did not act upon it. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
was done to secure the American people, to secure people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that I, wish that could have been done even earlier in the year, January 2020. I did some research and I found out that the administration knew the beginning of 2020.
Hmm. Right. Well, that's something that had came out in the news, and everybody was pretty clear about that. They knew what
Yes.
it was, and they just kind of downplayed it and tried to make it like it wasn't a thing. I guess it was sort of him working from his ego. I guess I don't know. I'm not sure. So.
But my suggestion would be to do wearing a mask to me is just like the simplest thing. I mean,
Right.
I've made it part of my fashion statement.
Right. How hard can it be? Just put a
Outfit,
mask on. I
just
don't
put a
I
mask
really have been trying to
on.
figure out what the whole issue is there myself. Like, just put it on. In fact, people in Asia had already been wearing masks for years. I used to look at them and
Yes.
think to myself, wow, why are they're always wearing masks? What are they afraid of? You think, oh, they got a bad smog or something, but they did it every single day. And then you got people in this country walking around talking about, oh, you wear a mask too long, it'll mess you up. Really?
And then
Sounds stupid.
I don't know why he came to mind. I guess because I love him so much. But Michael Jackson always had on a face
Yeah, he
covering
did.
or a
He sure
mask.
did. Now that you mentioned that, I didn't even
Always.
think of that. You are absolutely right. He sure did. He wore
He
one all the
always
time.
he wore one all the time. And I don't know why I thought about him, but I did while I was recovering. And I understand the whole reasoning behind it. But if it's something as simple as wearing a mask and just, I believe that this moment of quarantine and isolating and just slowing down is good for us. It was a good thing for us to reflect, to spend more time with family. We're
Yeah.
not rushing to do things, trying to go everywhere, do everything. I think it was just us just slowing down and just
Mm-hmm.
not trying to go everywhere. All these people in Miami partying for spring break. That's all that is not necessary right now. We could just slow down, and
They're
it's
not
gonna
gonna
be
slow
plenty
down.
of time to travel
They ain't
and
gonna slow
do things.
down. Some of these people, more people are gonna have to die. It's just as simple as that. That's that Darwin effect. You know, they're gonna do everything in their power to put themselves in harm's way. Well, Angela, look, I appreciate you coming on. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to give us a shout out and let us know how you're doing. It's good to see you up and about and healthy and happy and making your moves. Um, so we look forward. We're gonna have you back sometime and look forward to seeing you again. So,
Okay, and I just want to let you know I'm writing a book, so I'm gonna be on there
oh,
about my
let us
book.
know. I'll be more than happy. Look, I got you, baby, from the cradle to the grave. We're gonna put it out there. You let me know. You let me know when that book drop. We gonna put it out there for sure, for sure.
Okay, I appreciate
All
you.
right. You
And
have yourself a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
okay, tell Kim hello.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Angela Samuel, and she is letting you all know that you need to wear your mask and take care of your business so you don't end up where she was. All right, so now let's shift gears. Let's get back to where we were, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to finish talking about these guns. These guns, y'all. Not these guns. These guns. Anyway, right quick, show me some, for my Facebook family, show me some thumbs up if you think that guns should be removed from our society. Give me them thumbs up, y'all. Let me see what you got. If you think guns should be removed from society. If you think that guns should be left in our society the way that they are, show me some hearts. Put those hearts up. Let's see what we're talking about right now. Because I'm going to tell y'all, I have my own opinions, and there are a lot of things going on that we're going to have to pay a lot closer attention to. Because to be honest with you, guns ain't the problem. The guns are not the problem. The people are the problem. And I see I got almost all hearts, and that shows me right there that you all think more or less the way that I do. Now, if y'all remember, we did a show last year where we talked about the Second Amendment and the truth about the Second Amendment, because the truth about the Second Amendment is that it is not specifically for the right to bear arms, to maintain and bear arms, or to maintain a well-regulated militia. It had more to do with the maintenance of slavery than it did anything else, and the ability for the militia to police the slaves. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. You don't have to believe me. For my brethren out there who do not want to believe the truth and the facts, I am not a person who talks out of emotion. I am a person who talks from factual information. And if you don't believe what I say, take notes, write down the things that you disagree with, go back and do the homework, and you will find yourself questioning your position, because I'm telling you what happened, not what I think. Now, the fact is, the Second Amendment was set up for the maintenance of militias. And in order to have a militia, they had to have the right to bear arms. And of course, they claimed that it was to, ward off individuals from other places that would attempt to raid our country, when at that time we were talking about the British and the Spanish and anybody else that wanted to try and come into the country and do their thing. But we don't have that problem anymore. I mean, let's be honest. We have the most powerful military on the planet. Nothing is coming near this country. Well, at least not in a conventional stance anyway. The necessity for an everyday citizen to have an assault rifle or a weapon of war is damn near really not necessary. However, I want to keep mine. I don't think anybody else should have to give theirs up either. Why? Because this is the way this country was set up and the way this country was founded. And let's keep it 100. Without that very violence, without those very guns, the colonization of this country would never have taken place. Have y'all ever thought about this? Did you ever ask yourself why the colonizers of this continent did not enslave the indigenous people of this continent? You know why? Because they couldn't. Why? Because they would rather be dead than enslaved. And in fact, they did kill many of them. They massacred, committed levels of genocide that still are unaccounted for today. But the fact is, they couldn't enslave them. That speaks volumes. And when they themselves got wind or hold of the gunpowder and the guns and all of that, they fought back. They did what they were supposed to do to protect their own as best they could until they were literally slaughtered by the same military that's supposed to want guns to protect themselves from enemies, foreign and domestic. See, there's a hypocrisy here because, of course, the indigenous people of this land were not supposed to protect themselves from enemies, foreign and domestic, because we know that the enemies, the colonizers who came here, were the foreign enemy. And they were slaughtered for trying to protect themselves. Native Americans didn't run out here and just start killing people and shooting up shit. No. They were trying to protect what they had known all of their lives, for generations, for centuries, before the colonizers came here and began to destroy what they had built and their legacy. But now, if somebody comes and tries to take what they took, now there's a problem. All right, we get all of that. We're going to move on from that because we already know that ship has sailed. And these people actually do believe that because they conquered and stole this land and murdered a bunch of people in the process, that they actually own this. I guess they say to the winner go the spoils. And until the lion is capable of writing a book, the hunter will always be the victor. So now we're at a place where everybody wants to have an assault rifle because they have the right to. I want my assault rifles. Why? Because I have the right to them, just like everybody else. Now, here's where the real issue comes in. Now, yesterday I was on the Karen Hunter show on SiriusXM and on the Clay King show on SiriusXM, and we spoke about these very issues. And one of the hosts was adamant about he didn't understand why these guns were necessary and why we should get rid of them. But here's the funny thing. The only people who are ever really so anxious to get rid of the guns are usually people of color. I know that sounds real like pigeonholey, like, you know, just them. No, but let's keep it 100. Here's what happens. Guns have been used for the purpose of theft, death, conquering, colonizing. What would it look like if the people who are the colonizers and the conquerors decided to put their guns down? They won't. It ain't gonna happen. The day they decide to put down weapons in this country is the day this country is no longer America. The foundation, the very foundation of America is predicated on three things. Some of you know, have seen my artwork before. You might be able to know, you can't see it in the background. I did a poster that's out in the world right now. Many of you may have seen it before. It's called Choices. On the very bottom, there's a Bible laying flat. On top of that Bible is a stack of money next to a pistol, a gun. Those are the three premises for which this country was founded: religion, money, and violence. Period. There's no two ways about it. There's no getting around it. That is what this country was founded on. Now, the day you start to take away, and if you think about it, a lot of these things are changing right in front of our eyes in our generation. The day you remove the very weapons used in order to make this country what it is the day this country is no longer what we are familiar with. That's not going to happen. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and any other politician can make every attempt to try and remove these things, it's not going to happen. Every time we have a mass shooting in this country, one that they decide to pay attention to, because the fact is there are so many of them that take place so regularly that we've become so desensitized to them that nobody pays attention anymore. We just, go on business as usual. So the other day, we had a guy who shot up the grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, a place called Supermarket in Boulder. So many people get killed in mass shootings now that all we ever come up with is a number. Oh, how many got killed? 15. How many got killed? 10. And so on. These people are not numbers. These are somebody's family. This is somebody's husbands and wives and children, aunts and uncles, and so on. That's who these people are. They're not that number that you see flash across the screen. This time, a cop got killed. Whoop, let's make a big deal out of it. Why? Because Blue Lives Matter. I'm being funny, y'all. Blue lives do not matter because there's no such thing as a blue life. You can take that uniform off anytime you like. I can't take this off. Black lives matter. Okay? Miss me with all that blue lives BS. That's a choice. I don't have a choice. Okay? So why are we talking gun ban this time, y'all? What's the big deal this time? Why? Because this happens every couple of years. We go through this. We have this big old debate after a few people get shot up. And I don't mean to say that as though they don't mean anything, because I want to say rest well, rest in heaven to those people. But the fact is that this is the way our politicians treat these people. This is the way they treat these situations. Everybody is saying, oh, we need a gun ban. We need an assault rifle ban. Not going to happen. The point is that why is it that we keep going through this thing about assault rifles? Oh, it's an assault rifle. It's a rifle. Now, let me show you something funny. Y'all remember when Kyle Rittenhouse shot them people in Wisconsin when he was out there, when they was protesting about the guy, I can't think of his name, who got shot in the back up there. When Kyle Rittenhouse murdered 2 people in the street because he was scared. According to him, he was there protecting property. Now, this kid is 17 years old. He ain't never paid a tax on no property ever of his own, but he's out there protecting somebody else's property with what the news referred to as a long gun. Not one time in the media did you hear them say he was carrying an assault rifle. Not one time did you hear them say he was carrying an AR-15. They repeatedly, and I paid attention, they repeatedly referred to his weapon as a long gun. So why aren't we saying in the news today, let's ban long guns? See how funny things are? You see the hypocrisy there? They have Kyle Rittenhouse down in certain circles, in your white nationalist, white supremacy circles, as a hero. Well, if that's the case, why isn't the guy who shot up the supermarket a hero? What's the difference? There is none. There is none. We keep talking about what kind of gun it is. Did you know that several mass shootings in this country have been committed with handguns, with other rifles, shotguns even? But nobody's talking about banning any of those. I could get more rounds off with a semi-automatic pistol almost than I can a semi-automatic rifle. But people prefer the rifle. And because that is a preference, it's like if you go out and you buy the latest pair of Jordans and you stand in line outside to get them. That's the popping thing. The AR is the popping thing right now. In 1914, the Winchester rifle was the popping thing at the time. The Winchester repeating rifle. That was the AR-15 of its time. But nobody was interested in banning rifles when they were used to murder and massacre entire black towns and kill off many indigenous of this country throughout history. Nobody had a problem with all those massacres and those mass shootings. Now, all of a sudden, we got a problem. See, this is what you call the chickens coming home to roost, as my man Malcolm X once said. All weapons, let's be real, let's keep it 100, y'all. All weapons are weapons of war. There's no such thing as a weapon that's not a weapon of war. All firearms are designed for one thing and one thing only. The hell with target practice and all that BS. They are made to kill. I don't care if it's a 22, a 38, on up. They serve one purpose. Let's not pretend that an AR is more important than a 38. It's not. They all do the same damage. They will kill you. And if a person is in a supermarket with a 9mm Glock and decides to shoot 10 people, does it matter? Really? I don't think it does. Now, turns out Colorado has some pretty, their gun laws are pretty much in line with everybody else in the country. But what if somebody in there had actually been concealed carry and he ran upon them in an attempt to kill them and they then killed him? It could have happened, but more people are so adamant about getting rid of the firearms. Well, again, the one thing that you got to remember is that as long as America is America, that is not going to happen. So the question becomes, do you give up your firearms and become a victim, a sitting duck for a guy like this who shot up the grocery store? Or do you have your own firearm and at least give yourself a fighting chance? This is where we are in America. America. This is where we are. Don't get confused about where you at. And see, people seem to have this idea that it can't happen to me. It ain't gonna happen to me. Oh, baby. I bet you those 10 people in that grocery store, including that police officer, they weren't thinking, well, he might have been thinking something different, but I guarantee you they wasn't thinking it can't happen to me. They knew it could happen. They didn't know it could happen. They didn't think it could happen because we take so many things for granted every single day. Y'all know how much I talk about that. You wonder why our government is dragging their feet and dragging their ass about making legislation to do these things. I mean, let's think about it. We had a political figure. What was that? In Nevada a few years ago, got shot in the head. You had a couple of senators get shot on a baseball diamond in Washington. No movement. We ain't gonna even begin to talk about all of the mass shootings that have taken place throughout the country over the last 10 years. I'm just gonna go back 10. I ain't gonna go back further than that. It's more than that. And then you wonder why these people refuse to do anything. You know why? Because the very same people who refuse to do anything are the very same people who are willing to use those weapons and ignore those who use them improperly to maintain the status quo of what this country is and what it stands for. You have to look at the bigger picture. There is a reason why they refuse to go that far to remove these weapons from this country. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you see on the surface. There are way deeper issues here that are rooted in the maintenance of white nationalism. It ain't going to happen. You got to go and do your history. Now, here's a really interesting thing. Boulder, Colorado, in particular, where this shooting took place, they have a gun rights ban, or should I say, an assault weapons rights ban. In other words, it is part of their law now where they block anything that suggests that they're going to ban assault weapons. 10 days prior to this shooting that killed 10 in Boulder the other day, the court there blocked an attempt to ban assault weapons in Boulder. And it was supported by none other than the National Rifle Association, the NRA. How'd you guess? Imagine that. Now, the interesting thing about that, and the reason why Colorado has been so adamant about attempting to ban these guns, these assault rifles, these weapons of war, or as the white nationalists call it when they have one of their own do the wrong thing, long gun. See how they downplay that? Long gun. Colorado has had some of the worst mass shootings in the country. In case anybody forgot, Colorado is off the chain when it comes to mass shootings. Yeah. So check this out. We had Aurora, the Aurora, Colorado shooting, 4 dead. We all remember Columbine in 1999, 15 dead. Colorado Springs in 2007, 5 dead. Had another shooting in Aurora in 2012 with 12 dead and 70, not 17, 70 injured. Colorado Springs in 2015, 3 dead. Thornton, Colorado, 2017, 3 dead at a Walmart. And in Boulder, Colorado, just the other day, we have 10 dead. And it, of course, is a developing story. Yet they are against. And if I'm not mistaken, that one senator who is from there, who did her commercials and all of that with her guns, I'm going to wear my gun on the Senate floor and, you know, all this sort of thing. Yeah, that one. Well, down here in Texas, we have this little thing that I became familiar with when I moved here, and I spent some time in this little town because I was working in the oil field. And they had this saying, and I saw these flags, and it kind of tripped me out. And they said, "Come and take it." And on the flag, it has a cannon with the Texas star over the top of it. And it says, "Come and take it." And I thought it was pretty curious. But they have monuments all over this little town to that particular saying. Now, one of the gentlemen on the Clay King show yesterday mentioned that he saw a flag, and he's somewhere up in D.C. in that area, and he saw a flag that said that on it, and it blew him away. It freaked him out because he, of course, had never seen it, and he didn't understand what it was. Well, I'm going to give you a quick history. See, y'all know I had tied a history to everything. Now, you may have seen some of these things yourself, especially with this whole Trump thing, the Trump trains and the flags they were flying. But let me start right here. This particular thing right here, look at that symbol. Okay, I want you to pay attention to that. That says in Greek, Molon Labe. Okay, and that is where the saying, where the term "come and take it" originates. If you look around close enough and you find gun advocates that are out here now, you will find this symbol with those letters beneath the things that they, or you'll see stickers on their trucks and cars and things like that. Now, from that, you then see things like this develop. Again, Molon Labe. And you see the symbol with the ARs on there and the Punisher symbol in the middle. This is where they headed. Okay. And again, come take it. That's the premise. Now, that particular term, Molon Labe, was made famous, supposedly, by King Leonidas. How many of y'all saw that movie 300? Remember that? Okay. King Leonidas, in his reply to Xerxes of the Spartans, he responded to a demand by Xerxes to turn over his weapons to them and surrender. And instead of doing that on the eve, on that evening, they had an exchange in writing the night before. They had the Battle of Thermopylae. Got to watch 300, y'all. See, this is history. So this Greek saying, "Come and take it," which that is not even the origin of it. It originated even before that. But this is where it was began to be made famous. And this is how you see it being tied together now. But right now, literally, here in America, you have people riding around with this symbol on flags. But now this right here in particular, what you see is that right there, it resides in a museum in Gonzales, Texas. That came from the Mexican War. And the point was, there was a cannon that was here. And you got to remember, when you start looking at the history of this country, you remember Texas was part of Mexico. It was Mexico. That cannon that the Mexican army wanted, they demanded it be returned. And the people here said, no, come take it. And that's why you find that right there, that symbol, come take it. Now, it evolved into what you see now when you're riding down the highway and you see Donald Trump flags flying from the back of pickup trucks with one of these flying next to it. See that AR? Come and take it. They've substituted the cannon for the AR-15. See that? So that tells you right there the intent of those who are gun advocates, who believe in their Second Amendment rights, no matter what. They have no intentions of giving up these firearms. This is how they feel. And there's nothing, nobody, no legislation, no law is going to do to change that. If they made a law today, if they said right now today, assault weapons are banned. So ain't nobody even mentioned the AK-47 lately, or M16, or any of the other assault rifles that are actually out here. There's a lot of different ones, but they're so busy worrying about the AR. But if today they said, turn in all your assault weapons, you can't have them no more, they're banned, what do you think is going to happen? You want to tell you what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. They're going to say, come and take it. It's not going to happen. See, this is a redirect. This is what you call bait and switch. This is them telling you that they're going to do something that they really don't have the power to do. I don't give a damn if they're illegal. When have criminals ever cared, or people who thought that they were above the law ever cared about the law? When has a person who is living outside the law ever cared what laws were made? And it's, oh, you can't have that. Oh, well, I guess I'll turn it in. Ain't gonna happen. Forget about it. Not gonna happen. Now, I mean, it's just a ridiculous notion. But here's the thing, y'all. Banning these weapons has nothing to do with the real issue. This is the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the fact that they are willing to attempt to take away people's guns, but not willing to attempt to deal with people's health care. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about the reason why this guy the other day felt like, well, I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to go kill 8 people, 6 of whom look alike ethnically. No. Let's talk about the mentality. Let's talk about the dehumanizing idea in the head of an individual who thinks that it's okay to murder another human being with impunity. I mean, just walk in and start shooting people. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care who's going to miss you. I don't care about none of that. What type of psychotic mindset does it take that potentially could have got help if they had access to health care? Colorado actually has laws on the books. They have a red flag law. They have a law that says if you know a person is a little bit off the chain, you know what I'm saying, and they ain't supposed to be doing the thing, that they can get help. Oh So Smooth Radio people, y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening. Ladies and gentlemen, hold tight. We got to let my Oh So Smooth crowd go. My time is up on there. Sometimes we run over an hour, so you know they have to. I gotta stay on a strict schedule with my Oh So Smooth crowd. But the healthcare, y'all, this is what we need to be paying attention to. There has to be some other remedy besides saying that this is the guns problem. This is not the guns problem. Guns are inanimate objects. Cars are inanimate objects. More people get killed in car accidents by drunk drivers than guns do any day. But are we banning cars? No. It's not how this works. That's like saying that the words you put in a book are the responsibility of the pen, the pencil, or the computer. They're not. They're the responsibility of the individual who wrote what is in the book. You gonna ban books? No. You got to deal with the mentality of the individual that has the pen in their hand, the person who has the gun. But we will ignore that part and move on to thinking and believing that if somehow we ban assault rifles or we take away people's ability access, there's no such thing as no access to guns in this country. This is America. This is America. It's guns on every corner. I don't care what neighborhood it is, black, white, Hispanic, green, purple, red, brown, or orange. It don't matter. Guns are available in America. They will always be that in America. Why? Because that's what America was founded on. That's what the basis and the whole standing of everything that this country is came from. Without guns, you don't have America. Take away guns, you don't have America. So my sense is this. You better get you one, and you better be ready in case you need it. Simple as that. People talk about, oh, people get killed. Well, yeah, that's America. And I mean, hell, there's other places in the world you can move to. Shit, I think the police in Japan and the police in some parts of Europe don't even carry guns because the people don't have guns. They just don't have access to weaponry like that. We have gun manufacturers in this country that make guns constantly. In fact, they make so many guns in this country. Here's the really ridiculous part. Right now, and especially behind with all of the talk of banning assault rifles in America right now, you can't buy one right now if you wanted to. And if you do, you're going to pay buku bucks to get one. An AR-15 right now that might have cost you $600 2 years ago, a year ago, or 5 years ago. You're going to pay $1,500 for it right now, if not more. Why? Because the popularity of them has gone up. All this does is increase gun sales and make people want more because they think they can't have it. So now they're loading up. You can't hardly buy a dang old bullet right now for an assault rifle. They're damn near not available. They can't make this stuff fast enough. Do y'all understand what that means? This is not a joke. This is real. And they're going to get on TV with all the mental masturbation and keep on going on talking about, well, we're going to take away the assault rifles and that's going to make a difference. No, it's not. It's not going to make no difference. Trust me. And if you don't already have what you need, you're going to play hell getting it. Believe that. Let's get the healthcare program in place that helps to fix the people, treat the people who need the help so that we don't have any more church shootings and synagogues like in Pittsburgh and in Texas or the Walmarts in El Paso and Colorado, or the supermarket in Boulder, concerts in Vegas, job sites in Illinois and California, in Virginia, in nightclubs in Greenville, South Carolina, Orlando, Florida, Thousand Oaks, California, the schools. We can't even count how many schools been shot up. Military bases at Fort Hood, Navy shipyards in Washington. Let's do something about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just get away from the whole conversation about banning assault rifles because it's stupid, number one. It's not the real problem, and it's not going to solve anything. We keep skirting around the real issues. I'm tired of that. I'm burnt. I'm completely burnt out on everybody skirting the issues, not dealing with the reality and the truth of what's going on in America. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for coming out and hanging out with me and listening to my rant for the night. I've been doing that a lot lately. On Friday, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to want to see this show because I will have my co-host on with me again, Miss Tika, the tea lady, and we're going to have a ball because we're going to chop it up. We got some good topics for y'all on Friday, some stuff that you're going to have some good laughs about, and we just going to drag that thing out and make fun out of it. So I want you to all come in on Friday. Don't forget to get your copy of The Black Factor at bmforbes.com. Thank each and every one of you. I love y'all, my Black Factor family, man. Y'all are the bomb. Y'all are the bomb, and you are a factor. So thank Mr. Kenny from Canada, who was on here earlier, for bringing that up. Just know, black folks are a factor in America. Without these black people in America, you don't have America. Without guns in America, you don't have America. So I want you all to think about that. And like I say all the time, if you don't believe what I say, I want you to look it up for yourself. Because I ain't going to lie to you. I wouldn't do that. That's just mean. It'd be mean for me to lie to you. I would be like them other people. What they call it, fake news. I ain't going to be fake news. I'm going to give it to you raw every chance I get. Everybody have yourselves a great evening. Fantastic Wednesday. Eat good, sleep good, live good. Make the best of everything you are and everything you got. Good night, y'all. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We gone.